Hi, I'm Betty.
And I'm James.
We're two librarians with a genre fiction addiction.
And we're here to spread the good word and good recommendations for fantasy, sci-fi, and horror.
Welcome to Betty and James Off the Shelves. This is our very first BookTube video / podcast episode, and we thought that a good way to introduce ourselves to the world of bookish creators would be to do the newbie book tag that we found on YouTube.
Yes, which Betty told me about, which is used for people who have new BookTube channels who want people to be able to find it on YouTube.
That's right. So there are, I think, 7 questions, and we'll just go through them. It's just going to be a chat, getting to know us as creators, as bookish people, and as people who love to share what we're reading with the world.
Yeah. If I'm not talking about the things I'm interested in, I just kind of explode.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I really wanted to start a BookTube channel because I think that it's fun to be able to share the things that you love with other people who share similar interests. And so I wanted to create a space where people who loved genre fiction like us could come together, find some more recommendations, find a community, and read more of the books that they love.
Yeah, and even though we're in a profession that kind of lends itself to this, evidently we need more. So,
we do need more. We do need more. I think that something that is fun and unique about what we're going to bring to BookTube is the fact that there's 2 of us.
Yeah, which helps.
It does help. It does help. And I think that both James and I enjoy the same sorts of genres, but we enjoy different aspects of those genres.
Yeah, we're definitely coming at it from different angles.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting for this because then you don't just hear one of our opinions. We kind of cross-section, which is nice.
And I think that we cross over a lot in what we like to read, but we read different things and then we have different opinions on the things that we read. So I think it'll be good to have that conversation, to share the different angles about why we like the books that we like, or why we don't like the books that we've read. And
it's more common for me, unfortunately. Me than you, at least.
Yeah.
A bit
So
harsher.
I think that is something unique that we bring. And I also think us being librarians brings something unique.
Helps because we're just constantly around people who are reading and talking about what they're reading just like every single day. So it kind of means that we're always thinking about it at least a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think it's interesting because even though we are librarians, a lot of the librarians that we are surrounded by are not genre fiction people.
I was so surprised with how few people are reading genre in the profession. Like it's really literary based.
Yes,
everyone's like into art books,
literary fiction, which absolutely has its place, and I will read that as well.
And I read it too, but it's like
the vast majority of what I'm reading is genre fiction, and that is not what the vast majority.
And that's how we started talking about it. It's because we were like, oh, you also like read what I read. That's different for like the 60 librarians that we work with.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's making me look at books in a slightly different way and reading slightly outside of the niche that I'm reading in. Because like with the Locus Awards challenge that we're doing, I'm reading 3 sci-fi books. I haven't read sci-fi in like a year. Sorry.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome back to the fold. Yeah, I'm really excited about reading with purpose. I feel like I read because I enjoy reading, but I also want to be able to read in a way where I am thinking meaningfully about what I'm reading so that I can then express myself properly to people who are watching this channel.
Yeah, because a lot of when I would finish a book, I would write down what I thought of it just for myself. But then it's very like inward focused, like just looking at what I'm looking at. And then I don't get to talk as much as I would like about it unless someone else has read the same things as me. So this kind of is a good outlet for that.
I'm also really excited to find a bookish community that loves genre fiction, particularly in Australia. I feel like a lot of the content creators that are making bookish content are in America, that's great. Love the American creators and I watch and listen to a lot of them. But I would really love to be able to connect with other Australian readers through this journey.
Yeah. I think I just like storytelling in general. I'm very big on storytelling across the board, and I find that reading has a really interesting form of storytelling where you can be much more character focused, and that's always what I'm drawn to the most.
I just think that reading it transports you and it can transform you. I think through reading and through storytelling, like you were saying, you can experience other people's lives and explore other people's worlds in a way that you would not be able to otherwise and that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. And I think that people are so creative that I'm always in awe of the places that I'm able to go and the stories that I'm able to read and the characters that I'm able to meet through sitting down with a book and reading. I just think that it's incredible, and I think it's such an exciting thing to do. I love reading.
That was a better answer than I gave.
It was not. You had a beautiful answer. James is also a writer, so the storytelling thing resonates with him a lot.
See, the thing was, I didn't read much fiction as a kid. I read non-fic as a kid pretty much exclusively, and then I got much more into reading fiction when I was like a later teen. What
were the non-fiction things that you were reading? Were you reading
history.
Egyptology? Oh,
yeah, no. I was reading history.
Yeah, okay.
As a little kid, like all
Dragonology.
Yes, Dragonology was great. Everyone loved Dragonology.
Clearly non-fiction.
Yeah,
that's non-fiction.
Or it's like pretending to be non-fiction.
Yeah, it is.
Or like the Del Toro Quest books. They were like,
you did read fiction?
I read some, just not exclusively. Like I read 95% fiction right now, but when I was a kid, it was probably flipped the other way. But the thing was, my favorite Del Toro Quest book was the one that was pretending to be nonfiction about the universe. Okay. And then I would read a lot of
such a little nerd.
I know. And then, well, obviously. And then I would read a lot of like history books for kids and then history books for adults that had a lot of pictures because that's what I was interested in.
Yeah. I was obsessed as a child with the Magic Faraway Tree books by Enid Blyton. Oh my Lord. I think I read those books cover to cover. I'm not even joking, about 100 times. Wow. I just loved them. They were probably my introduction to fantasy as a genre before I even knew what genres were as a child. And I remember being in primary school and we had this program where children in the older grades would read to children in younger grades. Okay. And I was like, now's my chance.
You're going to read some kids The Magic Faraway Tree.
The Magic Faraway Tree, that was amazing. I loved that a lot. So I've always been a reader ever since I was a child. That was probably my introduction to fantasy. And then, of course, I became a horse girl. So I read every single... I'm going to take that as a compliment.
It is.
I read every single Saddle Club book that was available to me.
Ooh, some other series that I also really liked as a kid were Alex Rider, the spy ones.
Oh my God, I read those as well.
Yeah, they were great. And they came out in like 2000, so they were like really getting published when I was able to read.
Yeah.
And Ranger's Apprentice by John Flanagan, which was also like late primary school, I think, for me. And sadly, he passed away like this year.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I hope that he rests in the knowledge that I could, because I'm a children's librarian, so I know that those books are still
still going.
Very popular.
Like they're still going out.
Yeah, very popular books.
They were good. I liked those.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite booktuber? You don't really. You're not a huge like book content consumer.
I don't know if they count. Yeah, they count.
Yeah,
you're Brandon Sanderson.
I do.
Very, very famous fantasy author, and his friend Dan Wells. They have content that they make together where they have a podcast where they talk about, it's not even just books, they just talk because they're friends, and I like that a lot. I don't know what I would ask them though, because I just kind of hang out with the podcast.
I feel that too. Like I have quite a few bookish creators whose content I really enjoy, and I sit there and I'm like, I love listening to my friends talk about books.
Yeah, it's very much just like, I like these two.
Yeah.
We're hanging out. And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
because And that's the thing. For me, it's like a bit of a loaded question because I think the questions I'd ask them are about them being professional novelists more than book creators.
Yeah. I think that I would ask about how to be more comfortable creating like off-the-cuff content.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of the people that I see do then short-form videos that are like, come to the bookstore with me and come to the whatever, spend a day with me doing X, Y, and Z. And I feel like, I think the answer is just that you pick the phone up and you just start recording.
Yeah.
But
which is so foreign to me.
it is
as a
foreign
human.
to you.
Like, I just don't do that.
I'm dragging you into this kicking and screaming. But yeah, I think just things like that, like how to become more confident in just making silly little videos that help you to connect with your audience.
Yeah. Getting an audience.
Getting an audience, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty big one.
I think that's the main one.
Yeah. I also think sometimes I have ADHD, so sometimes I struggle with consistency, which is also part of the reason that I forced James to
And I don't have ADHD and I do not struggle with consistency.
So this, I think, will be very helpful because I have a co-host and we have a schedule and we're sticking to it.
So I'll just be like, hey, we're doing this now.
Yeah. I also think, because I think we all experience this, what do we do about creating the content when we're in like a reading slump?
Yeah, right.
So I think it'll be interesting to see as the year goes on and the years go on, if and when we fall into reading slumps, but we're making content about reading. Like, how do we overcome that? And I think we have some ideas.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is always going to be a thing. Do you have many reading slumps?
I tend to have one literally every year.
Okay.
Near the beginning of the year.
Like a month or?
I start out really strong, like January, February, and then around March, it sort of dips.
Okay.
So I had one this year, but I overcame it.
That's good. That's good. Because whenever I get into a bad reading slump, I just start heavily rereading, which is like I want to do anyway because I'm a big rereader.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So there are ways that we can get out of it.
I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I think that's something that I'm like, oh, what happens if I am busy or if I'm in a slump and I have
I'll still be reading so you can hear about what I've been reading.
And I'll just sit here like.
Yeah.
So that was the final question.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was all the questions for the book tag, but we also wanted to give you a really quick idea of the kinds of things we read in sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. So, a couple books that are representative of my horror tastes are The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones and The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. For fantasy, I'm going to do a series. It's the Rivers of London series by Ben Aronovich, which is a police procedural about wizards, which I love. And for sci-fi, which is, again, how I've mentioned, my worst genre of the three.
Worst?
Well, my
least read.
Least read.
Worst.
The worst knowledge I have is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep or Blade Runner by Philip K. Dick.
And I have chosen 2 fantasy series to give you an idea of my taste. The first is the Scholomance series by Naomi Novik, which is probably the best take on a like magical boarding school series book that I have ever seen. It is so creative and so much fun. So Scholomance series by Naomi Novik and the Locked Tomb, I was going to say trilogy, but there is a 4th book coming out. The Locked Tomb series by Tamsin Muir, which is about necromancers in space.
Okay.
God is a man named John.
Okay.
It's really good. That's also, I would say, sci-fi. That's like a fantasy sci-fi
that's
series.
fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah. So, the Locked Tomb trilogy series.
Yeah.
And then in sci-fi, my favorite sci-fis that I have ever read are Psalm for the Wild Built and Prayer for the Crown Shy, which is a Becky Chambers. There's 2 novellas. Monk and Robot is the series. And I just think it's one of the most beautiful series that's ever been written.
And I've never read it, so I probably should. Because that sounds interesting.
It comes to you at the right time in your life, I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's us done with our newbie BookTube tag. We hope that you are keen to hear us continue speaking about books in the future, and we hope that you follow along with our BookTube podcast, everything journey.
Yeah. The many places that we will be posting this.
Yes.
The multiple content forms.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye.